Welcome back. Today we're making nut cheese. Why? So January 20th is National Cheese Lovers Day. You know what? Everybody loves cheese, including this girl. So what about the people who can't eat cheese? What about them? So I thought this time I'd make a video for you guys. So we're gonna be making some dairy-free cheese today, made out of cashews, because that's the best kind of nut. Why dairy-free, you ask? Because dairy is incredibly abrasive to your system. Just ask people who have lactose intolerance. So this video is for our vegans, our lactose intolerant, our people who have dairy sensitivities, or just people who don't want to fart a lot. So let's go make this dish. Welcome back to Doc's Cuisine. Today we're making the nut cheese. Some people make it more than others, but today we're making it together. So you might be thinking to yourself, why cashews? And that's a really good question. They're the best one. Believe me, I've tried every other type of nut butter. I've tried macadamia nut butter, almond nut butter, and the butters are amazing, but the cheeses kind of suck. They have a weird texture, a weird taste, and cashews are just creamy and amazing. Some other amazing benefits of cashews is that they're high in zinc. Check out this video when I talk about the immune system and how it's really important to have zinc in your diet, and therefore you can have less colds. It also has a good amount of protein for a nut. We're talking 5 grams per an ounce, which an ounce ain't much. It also has a bunch of antioxidants. It's a monounsaturated fat, so it actually helps with cholesterols. In some studies, it's actually increased your HDL, which is the good cholesterol. So it's an all-around amazing nut. What are some general reasons that you might not want to have dairy in your diet? Great question. There's veganism. Another good reason to not have it in your diet is just that it makes you feel like crap. Some people suffer from a sensitivity in dairy, and other people suffer from a lactose intolerance. So sensitivity is very nonspecific symptoms, but lactose intolerance, everybody knows what lactose intolerant is. Gas, bloating, pain, diarrhea, sometimes constipation. Fun fact, 80% of the world is actually lactose intolerant. Do we care? No, because you know why? Cheese is delicious. So the FDA/food guidelines tells you that you should be eating 3 servings of dairy a day. Why? There is absolutely no reason in our diet that we need to have dairy at all. There is not one specific thing, other than the fact that the dairy industry actually makes a lot of money by being able to do this.
There's that.
Okay, first thing you're gonna do. You gotta soak your nuts, man. If you soak them in hot water, it only takes about 15 to 20 minutes. But if you soak it overnight, it takes all day. So be more efficient, right? Hashtag busy professional. We ain't got time to be soaking our nuts overnight. So as per usual, I'm gonna go through the most common ingredients found in a processed cheese I found at the store. This brand is Kakuna, and it's a Wisconsin spreadable cheese. Bacon jalapeno flavor, and I thought it would be fun if we went through some of the ingredients on the list so that we can kind of see what we can make better. We're doing it our own homemade while we watch our nuts soak. The ingredients are as follow: cheddar cheese, parentheses, aged over 120 days, pasteurized milk, cheese cultures, salt, enzymes, into parentheses, water, dry whey, reduced protein whey, cream, skim milk, jalapeno peppers, dehydrated red and green bell peppers, bacon, parentheses, cured with water, salt, smoke flavoring, sodium phosphate, sodium erythrobate, sodium nitrate, sugar, into parentheses, green bell pepper juice, xanthan gum, lactic acid, sorbic acid to protect flavor, natural flavor, smoke flavor, amaretto, color, end of parentheses. I always think it's funny when they put amaretto in things for the color. Like, who cares what the color looks like? It's cheese. Not the worst we've seen. I mean, it's not by far anything like American cheese. Have you seen that? That's pure plastic. My only considerations when it comes to possibly not the best for you ingredients would be in the bacon they added to it. Because in the bacon, they added the sodium phosphate, sodium erythrobate, and sodium nitrate. Oh, and smoke flavoring. Why they added smoke flavoring to bacon? I don't know. They could just literally smoke it. Come on, Wisconsin, this shit's supposed to be amazing. My problem with those things is that they can cause some kind of weird non-specific issues. We all know that sodium nitrate can actually cause migraines and trigger all kinds of other health issues. A lot of the sodiums tend to do that. They are a little bit of an excitatory signals, and it can cause people to have real problems. The other thing to note in here that a lot of people might not know is the sorbic acid. And some people think that sorbic acid is actually not that great for you. It's used as an anti-molding agent, and it actually helps protect flavor. It protects our foods. It can actually inhibit growth, so it's not that bad. But why must we use smoke flavoring? I don't understand that. Just use the natural things of smoke. Although smoke can have its own health risks. Life hack, by the way, if you're vegan and you are looking at products, you can always look at the little may contain area and see if it's got cheese in it.
Some people do have allergic reactions.
This isn't going to be completely the same because obviously we're not going to do bacon, but we can do the jalapenos. I think our nuts are done soaking. Let's get this schnazzy on the road. And we're just gonna add everything to the blender because, you know, we're blender people. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna drain our nuts. If you don't have one of these, get one of these because they're amazing. They have clamps. I mean, you don't have to fiddle with a whole strainer apparatus. You just literally clamp it on there and then it makes a seal and then you just pour it out. But it's for pots and pans, so get one. You do want a little bit of liquid. The more liquid, the softer the cheese is gonna be. We're gonna be making 2 different kinds today. We're gonna be making a cheese sauce, and we're also gonna be making a sun-dried tomatoes. In this particular one, we're gonna make a sun-dried tomato-based one. We got our blender. Does anybody know the rolling thing? It can actually get you more juice out of it. First things first, 1.5 cups of cashews. And we're just gonna dump them right in there. Number 2, we're gonna do some sun-dried tomatoes. You know, this ain't gonna be an exact science, I'm just gonna pour some in there. I like mine really sun-dried tomato-y. The recipe that I'm using for this is a loose guideline. We're just gonna dump about a 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes in there, and then we're gonna do some Southwest Chipotle seasoning. We're gonna eyeball this. We'll see how it turns out. By the way, I get salt-free Chipotle seasoning because then I can control the salt. I'm gonna put some smoked paprika in here because I like it a little smoky. Life hack, if you don't wanna use smoke flavoring, smoked paprika gives you some beautiful color, and then also on top of that you get some amazing smoke flavor. We're gonna put some salt. I understand that this is not an exact science. I'll put the recipe down below. I'll even add it to my website, faithfuldoc.com, so you can find it. But we're gonna throw some salt in here. I like my cheese salty. Then we're gonna use 4 tablespoons of water. 4 tablespoons equals a 1/4 cup. Dump it right in there. We're also gonna add some jalapenos. And I like mine really spicy. Maybe I put like 2 tablespoons in there. I put some lemon juice in there because everything's delicious with some lemon juice. Juice of 1/2 lemon. And that's it, folks. We're putting it in a blender, putting the cap on, and we'll blend it up. While I'm doing this, we could talk about some lovely facts and myths about cheese. Why does the nutritional guideline say that you should be eating 3 servings of cheese? I think there's 4 main reasons. Number 1, they say you can get protein out of it. You get about 8 grams of protein out of 1 cup of milk. That's kind of a high amount of protein. But guess what? Soy milk has 7 grams of protein in it, and you don't have to worry about the inflammatory properties of the dairy. The other 3 things that it says that it has is calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin A. Now, here's the thing. It's quite low in some of those things, and you can find those sources in terms of vegetables. When it comes to vitamin D, it has 2 IUs of vitamin D per cup of milk. Guess what? Mushrooms has 13 IU per 1/2 cup. So eat mushrooms. The daily recommended amount of supplementing vitamin D is 2,000 IUs a day. You're not even getting close to that when it comes to milk. The other thing is you get calcium out of it. Okay, so you get about 300 milligrams of calcium. You do get a decent amount of calcium when it comes to milk, but there's also some other amazing things that have calcium in them, such as spinach. 1 cup of spinach has 200 milligrams of calcium in it.
Eat your spinach.
The last thing is vitamin A. Vitamin A is really high in your orange vegetables. Obviously everybody knows about carrots, but actually the best one you're gonna get vitamin A from is sweet potatoes. So a 1/2 cup of sweet potato actually has 200% of your daily vitamin. There's not really that much necessary to eat dairy. Let's blend this up, shall we? Give it a good what for. Suffice it to say, you're gonna need a tamper, you're gonna need to scrape this down, and you're gonna need to be aggressive with that nut cheese.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's taste it, shall we? It's quite loose. Don't judge me, it's my kitchen, I can try it if I want to. Oh, it's really good. It's a little salty, so less salt. It's really delicious. So let's take this, let's put it on a little plate, put it in the fridge, firm it up. Let's move on to the next nut cheese. What do you call cheese that isn't yours? nacho cheese. We have some alternative ingredients here I'm sure everybody has heard of. First of all, we have our cashews. Recipe calls for 1 cup. I like it creamy, so I did 1.5 cups. Nutritional yeast, which everybody knows is nooch. I'm just trying to make it vegan. Do whatever you want for flavoring, but I like this one. So that's gonna be a good source of B12. Not an amazing source. It puts about this much B12 in it, but it's what vegans have. So on top of your supplements, nutritional yeast is pretty good. Salt and pepper. I like mine spicy because I like all nacho things spicy. I just like spicy food in general. And then there's some smoked paprika. One thing that the recipe does call for is garlic. I love garlic. Garlic and me are like besties. It hates me. I have something called SIBO, and I'll put that name right here. It's a really sexy thing that goes on with your gut when it's all messed up, and I'm fixing it, so we're working on it.
2020 work in progress.
Can't do garlic, but you can either put powdered or cloved garlic. It would make this recipe taste so much better, but we're just gonna stick with these things. Soaked your nuts, hot water, that's already done. I thought it would be fun if we talked about some facts and myths while we did this. The first myth I thought that was pretty funny is that people say that you can get nightmares or vivid dreams from certain types of cheese. It's pretty much a myth. I've never had weird dreams with cheese, but you know, if you have, put it in the comments below because I'd really like to know. Another myth is that if you are lactose intolerant, you can't eat any cheese at all. That's actually not true. If you're lactose intolerant, you can eat some cheese. The problem is that you're usually lactose intolerant to a specific protein. You can actually eat harder cheeses and not have bad problems with it. Stay away from milk.
Milk is not your friend.
Don't do that. 1/4 cup of this stuff. I want it really cheesy though, so I'm gonna do 1/2 cup. Don't tell anybody. Also, another thing is if you are lactose intolerant, you might try things like sheep's milk or goat cheese. Those tend to digest a little bit better in your gut, so you can try those things out. I'm gonna use like 1/4 cup of jalapenos. But another myth that I was reading about is that you can't have cheese when you're pregnant. Now, there's something to be said about this because there are certain cheeses you want to avoid when it comes to pregnancy. And the reason is because cheese can carry something called listeria, which is a type of bacteria, also processed meat. Everybody who's pregnant probably already knows this fact, but there are some cheeses that you can eat, which are fine. They say stay away from brie, soft cheeses, things that will have mold either sprayed or grown on them. I'm gonna use probably about a teaspoon of this smoked paprika. So I'm just gonna spray it in there. I like mine smoky though. Then we're gonna use some salt. They say a pinch. I'll try not to make it too salty this time. Also, life hack, get yourself one of these pepper salt grinder combos. They save room on your countertop. It's automatic. You're not sitting there grinding. Let's talk about some facts when it comes to cheese. Cheese has something called casein in it. And what they found with research is that it releases something called casomorphine, as in morphine, the drug. And what it is it's incredibly addicting. So that's why when you don't eat cheese, you don't crave it as much, but when you eat it all the time, all you want is more cheese. Another fun fact about cheese is that it is high in saturated fat, and therefore, on top of other reasons, it's hugely inflammatory. And so it causes a myriad of other symptoms, arthritis, asthma symptoms get worse, congestion, and then of course the problems we've had with, we said, with lactose intolerance. All right, let's put some water in here and blend this bitch up. I think it looks really good. Let's look at it. It's really creamy. Whoa, guys. Look at that. That looks beautiful. It's really good. I suggest the jalapenos. They make a big difference. But you can use this in your nachos. If you're gonna make pasta and make macaroni, make sure that you use gluten-free macaroni because it's Thyroid Awareness Month. January. Okay, so I got the 2 different kinds of cheeses here. Nacho cheese and then a nut cheese that's kind of like a spreadable cheese. And they're both made out of cashews. So I want to get your opinion on it as a person who doesn't eat a lot of vegan food, what you think about it. I know you're not going to be super stoked about this because you don't like these kind of cheeses, but let's see what the actual opinion is.
It might be pretty good. That one looks like Christmas. I like it.
What that one's not the one I made. Oh. But you know, you'll have to tell me what you think about it.
I like that a lot.
What does it taste like? How's the texture? Because these are nuts we're talking about here. We're not talking about
really creamy and smooth.
Jesus.
I don't know how to describe that. That's really good.
What do you think I used?
Cashews?
Correct. But what do you think I use like as the other ingredients?
Paprika?
Is it that obvious? So what I tried to do is I tried to make a tomato, like a sun-dried tomato, and then I used a smoked paprika to be able to flavor it more. But all the recipes called for garlic. So since I'm trying to avoid garlic, I'm trying, yeah, no garlic, no onion. So it's basically just salt. Oh, I used jalapenos. Kind of spice it up a little
I
bit.
can taste that. 'Cause
Yeah.
It is a little spicy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is the store-bought one. This is the Wisconsin cheddar. I think you're gonna hate this.
The other ones are much better.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
It's a bacon jalapeno one. And you know what? To be honest, the ingredients are not awful. The worst part about that is actually the bacon because they use a lot of like smoke flavoring. Sorry, smoke flavoring and a lot of preservatives to be able to. Okay, so this next one, nacho cheese.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna try it too.
Take a look here. Man, that's creamy. That's really good.
Yeah. What do you think I used for that?
I have absolutely no idea.
That's fair enough. It doesn't really taste. It's a little hard to describe.
It's like Cheese Whiz mixed with chili, but in a really good way.
If that's not a compliment, I don't know what is.
Chili Cheese Whiz.
It definitely has that nooch flavor, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not real. You can't get real cheese flavor out of like nutritional yeast and nuts, but
Sure.
the jalapenos really, really add to it. 100% vegan. Both of these cheeses, I think they turned out pretty all right.
They're excellent.
Yeah. Well, thanks. They
Did you
worked.
make that one?
Yeah, that's the one I made. I
You should
mean,
sell this.
I should sell it. See, guys, I mean, I literally put a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it worked out. It's a little salty, in my opinion. It's perfectly salty, is what he says. So you guys should try these recipes out. They're super delicious. I'll link the description in the below of the person that I got the recipes from, you know, minus the garlic. And I'll also put them on my website, faithfuldoc.com. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And yeah, happy cheese lover day. Bye. Was it delicious?
This is so much better than the store-bought. It's ridiculous.